In the bustling streets of late 19th century New York City, where horse-drawn carriages clattered against cobblestones and the air buzzed with the energy of progress, a young man named Lewis Waterman was destined to transform the world of writing. Born in 1837 in the small town of Williamsbridge, Lewis grew up with a love for learning and an insatiable curiosity about the world around him. With his tousled dark hair and keen blue eyes, he often donned a simple woolen vest over a crisp white shirt, the sleeves rolled up as he tinkered with various mechanical contraptions in his father's workshop. Lewis's father was a successful farmer, but he also had a knack for mechanics, and he would often share his knowledge with his son. Lewis's childhood was filled with the sounds of tools clinking and the sight of wood shavings scattered across the floor. Dressed in trousers that had seen better days and sturdy boots, Lewis was often found at his father's side, absorbing lessons in craftsmanship and problem-solving. As he grew older, Lewis ventured into the world of business. He worked as a clerk in a local insurance office, where the clattering of typewriters and the scratching of quills filled the air. However, it was not long before he became frustrated with the limitations of the writing instruments of the time. The dip pens he used constantly required dipping into ink, leading to smudged documents and ink stains on his fingers and clothes. One day, while working late in the office, Lewis found himself struggling with yet another stubborn dip pen. Ink splattered across his papers, leaving a trail of frustration. He sighed, rubbing the ink stains from his hands. "There must be a better way to write," he muttered to himself. He recalled the stories his father had told him about inventors who had changed the world through their innovations, and an idea began to take shape in his mind. That night, Lewis returned home, the flickering light of a gas lamp illuminating his cluttered workbench. He began to sketch out his thoughts, envisioning a writing instrument that would hold ink within a reservoir, allowing for continuous writing without the need to dip. The concept of a fountain pen was born, and with each stroke of his pencil, he felt a spark of excitement. The next day, dressed in his work clothes, a sturdy shirt and vest, Lewis began gathering materials. He sought out small brass fittings, glass tubes, and rubber for seals, his determination driving him to local shops and markets. The shopkeepers, curious about the young man's fervor, often asked him what he was building. "A pen that will change the way we write," Lewis replied enthusiastically, his eyes shining with conviction. As he experimented with various designs, he encountered many obstacles. The early prototypes leaked ink, while others didn't allow for a smooth flow. Frustrated yet undeterred, Lewis spent hours in his workshop, often covered in ink stains himself. His mother, a gentle woman with a keen sense of support, would often bring him warm meals, her floral dress swirling around her as she entered the workshop. "You're going to invent something wonderful, my dear," she would encourage him. One evening, after a long day of trials, Lewis had a breakthrough. He had been experimenting with a capillary action mechanism, a way for ink to flow from the reservoir to the nib without leaking.